Hey crafty friends, it's Chelsea. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you some simple design tips that will just help take your scrapbook pages and your embellishing to the next level. This is actually a scrap lift of my friend Erin, who is Crafty Concepts with Erin here on YouTube. She is celebrating her 10,000 subscriber milestone, and a few of us are getting together and doing a video hop and basically just scrap lifting her work. She has so much to choose from because she's super consistent and posts every single week on YouTube. So there was lots to choose from. I had a hard time narrowing it down. And I just want to congratulate you, Erin. You've worked so hard for this. You have an awesome channel, awesome content, and I'm so happy for you. All right, let's go over to my table and hop into today's project. Today, I'm going to be creating with the gorgeous Crisp Air collection. I have been waiting to dig this out. I'm so excited to play with it. It has some gorgeous patterns and colors, really rich tones. It has that nice pop of blue in there. And I love that the imagery is kind of like watercolor looking or like hand painted almost. And just a really good variety. I also enjoy that there's florals mixed in with the leaves. I definitely had to pick up the paper pack that includes the sticker sheet because there are some awesome stickers that go along with this collection. Some words, lots of leaves, florals, pumpkins, some good title options. So lots of things to work with. And then also there's a few other pieces that I haven't picked up yet, including the embellishments, the Picture My Life cards. And honestly, I was wishing I had those Picture My Life cards on hand when I was creating, but I didn't. And then there's also the SVG collection up there, which is also a great option. There are some great coordinating stamp and thin cut sets. I really love this floral one and the way those flowers layer together with the stickers from the sticker sheet would go perfectly with what we're doing today. There's also workshop kits, and it's just such a wonderful collection. And I hope you like what I come up with using this. This is the layout that I'm scrap lifting from Erin. I will link the video where she creates this page down in the description box. There will also be links down there to the rest of the videos that everyone is creating in this hop, so make sure you go check them out. I'm starting off with my favorite paper in the whole pack, this beautiful leaf pattern. I'm cutting about a 5-inch piece, and then I'm going to be ripping both sides, so it'll end up a little bit smaller than that. I'm also ripping towards myself so that I have that white edge exposed. If you rip away from yourself, then you get more of just a clean edge without that white core showing. Since it's a white pattern paper, it doesn't matter so much, but you'll notice it on these darker colors. For this orange pattern, I'm just eyeballing it and just kind of ripping away there. I have to go back and take off some of that extra white that's showing. But I basically just want to make sure I have a little bit of the leaf pattern showing on either side. I tried putting the white pattern on top of the orange, but it was just too busy. I was inspired by Erin's video to make some photo mats for my picture with white tissue paper. This is just like regular tissue paper that you get from the dollar store or Walmart or wherever. And that is a Waterbrush. I'm using that to wet it so that I can easily rip it. Tissue paper doesn't always rip where you want it to, and by using a little bit of water, then you can get it to rip pretty much exactly where you want it to go. As a nice little bonus, it gives you a really cool, like ruffly ripped edge from using the water. Hopefully you'll be able to see it once we get a little bit closer. So in Erin's video, she did a double mat, so that's what I did, and I'm just placing that over top of the tissue to help me line it up and have one a little bit bigger than the other. And then I used some Mocha Cardstock just to create like an 1/8 of an inch border around my photo. I don't know if I've ever used tissue paper as a photo mat before, but I really like it, and I think it's probably something I will do again. So I'm really glad I picked up this idea from Erin. Once I get this all assembled together, I was looking at my layout and I was like, you know what, that blue paper just needs a little something. I could use some gesso, I could ink, I could distress, but I thought, you know what, I'll sand it and expose that white core, and it gives it that nice worn feeling so it fits in with the other ripped paper. It's not too clean and perfect. Now keep in mind when you are sanding like this, you actually have like colored dust coming up. So you can see on my dry paper towel there, I have like a blue transferring. You want to make sure you wipe it down real good. And you can see on this piece here that I'm sticking down, I ran it through my sewing machine and added a little bit of stitching with white thread. Ever since I taught a class on stitching in the Creative Design Team membership, I have been a little obsessed with stitching, hand stitching, machine stitching, so I've been working it into more and more projects. Along with the stickers, I'm going to be adding some stamped images to this layout. So I grabbed this brand new Dragonfly Wishes. It's a stamp, stencil, and thin cut combo. And it's part of the Card Creativity Special for September, celebrating National Stamping Month. I absolutely love the idea of having stencils that coordinate with your stamped images. These ones match the 3 different sizes of dragonflies so that you can color in their wings. I'm starting off with all of these images in my stamp platform, and I'm going to be using intense black ink just because I wasn't sure if I was going to be coloring them or not, and the intense black works with any kind of coloring medium. So I'm using that to ink them all up, and then I'm going to stamp them, and you'll see here why it is good to use your stamp platform sometimes. I missed a little spot there, so I'll just re-ink it and stamp it again. Add another coat to those dragonflies too and make them a little bit darker. Now, after I had stamped these in black, I decided those cattails were just too harsh in black, and I ended up grabbing the Mocha. It's a dark brown ink pad, and I liked it much better in that dark brown. The dragonflies I'm going to keep in the black ink, and we'll be coloring them a little bit later. All right, so now comes the fun part. It's the embellishing part. And I have absolutely hacked up my sticker sheet. So you saw what it looked like at first when it was whole. I really like to cut apart my sticker sheet so that I can place the stickers all over the place and see if I like them before I commit to actually sticking them down. So I'm going to start with my largest cluster. I'm going to do 3 different clusters just like Erin did. She had some really big stickers that were designed for scrapbook pages. I don't have any really large stickers to work with, so I'm going to be layering a lot more than she did on her layout. When I'm starting to layer pieces together, I like to start with big pieces and then work my way down to little ones. So I started with that tag and the cattails and the larger leaves. And that pumpkin, I knew I wanted that to be a little bit more of a focal point. So then I just start filling in areas with smaller things. I have a large, medium, and a small dragonfly. So I'll be working one into each of the clusters. Over here on the left-hand side is my kind of medium-sized cluster. You'll notice that I'm repeating elements. So you'll notice as I'm putting these together, I have cattails, sunflowers, pumpkins, and I try and make sure I also have some of the same colors too. So some of the blue, some of the light peach color in each of those clusters so that it really just ties everything together. It's harmonious, and the 3 different areas that kind of make a triangle of embellishments just help to lead your eye across the whole page. If you don't enjoy having so many small pieces to try and make, all sit together nicely and all work together, you could definitely use some larger embellishments. You could cut some of the SVGs and just make larger embellishments, and that would make your process a lot quicker. On Erin's layout, she had a little ripped section right here with a cluster of embellishments right beside it. So I'm just figuring out what's going to go there, and then I'm just going to jump in there and rip a little chunk out of my page. And this fits into the whole distressed look that we have going on this layout, which is perfect. Now I'm going to audition some different patterns back there to see what I like. I thought maybe this one would be a winner. It's not too busy. It adds some brightness. But then I didn't really know where else I wanted to add more of that paper. I like to tie it in more than one location. So I decided to go with that nice paprika pattern, and I just distressed the edge there so it would match the rest of the layout. And then I put the adhesive on the front side of the paper because I didn't want to have to take off all my embellishments and glue it on the back side. So I just put the tape on the front where it wouldn't be seen and slide it under there and make sure it lines up with the edge of the page. So now that I have those two dark spots of the paprika color, I figured I needed to swap out my word strip there so that I had the 3 spots of color, and I like how that looks a lot better. Kind of draws your eye down into that big cluster and helps it coordinate a little bit better. Now you may have noticed that I put my tag down without any twine or anything in it, and later on I was regretting that choice. So I did end up using a piece of brown and white baker's twine, tying a bow, and just sticking it over the whole of that tag, which made me much happier. Now I'm starting to go through and stick everything down. So I'm starting with the items that are in the back and then working my way towards the front. Some of the pieces at the front are getting some foam dots. I have both the regular thickness and the thin foam dots, which is really nice to have some options. I like using some foam tape or foam dots so that you get some dimension and some variation. It makes your layout look a little bit more 3D and not so flat. You can see my little anti-static powder bag there. I'm using that on some of the stickers where I'm going to put foam dots on just to take away the stickiness. And that way I don't have to worry about them sagging down where there's no foam dots and sticking with the sticker part. And that seems to work pretty good. And also, if you're wanting to work with your stickers and slide them around your page, that can also help you so that they're just not automatically sticking down right away. I'm barely pressing on my stickers when I put them on the page, just because I want the freedom to be able to move them a little bit if I need to. So I just kind of like use light pressure just to tack them down a bit as I'm arranging everything. And then once I know I'm happy with the placement, I will go and give everything a really good press down and make sure it's not going to come up. I did spend quite a lot of time fussing with all these little pieces, moving my dragonflies all around, deciding where they should go. And you know what? There's several places that things would look good. This is just where I ended up sticking everything. I think every time you would build this kind of embellishment cluster, they're going to turn out differently. And especially if you're using different supplies. So basically, just rule of thumb, have the large cluster, the medium, and the small, and just repeat elements and repeat colors in each cluster to make them all work together. If you're enjoying this video so far, please hit the like button. It lets YouTube know that you're enjoying my content, and it also helps it spread to more people. I know when you're looking top down like this, everything looks like super flat, non-dimensional, but if you saw this layout in person, it has a ton of dimension and texture, which makes it very interesting to look at. Something that you may notice is missing, because I usually always have a spot for journaling on my layouts. This layout, I did not put any journaling on it, but there is a very specific purpose to that. So one, Erin's layout didn't have any visible journaling on it either, but two, I have some really beautiful scenery pictures that go along with this story that I'm telling on this page. So I'm going to do a coordinating page, probably a pocket page actually, because I have quite a few 4x6s that I want to use. So I'm going to use a pocket page beside this to slip in my photos. I'm going to do a journaling card, and that's where the story is going to go. This is a really fun memory. We stopped down by the beach one evening. It was in the fall. All the leaves were on the ground. And I took Isabella out of her stroller and just let her crunch around in the leaves. I held her hands and she walked around, and she was so thrilled with the crunching of the leaves. And of course, I had to snap a whole bunch of pictures and get some nice scenery shots too. So I really like adding things with different texture onto my pages. So Erin had some wood veneer pieces on hers, but we have these new paperboard embellishments that actually have a printed wood grain These ones right here that I'm getting the flowers from are from the Backyard Bliss Scrapbooking Workshop. They're exclusive to the workshop, and I already made those pages, so I'm kind of using up my extras in here, and they go perfectly with this theme. I love how thin the paperboard is, and the printing on it gives you the feeling of wood grain without the bulk. And I love that in the core catalog, there's several different options for like hearts, stars, arrows, alphabets that you can all get in this paperboard with the wood grain finish. It is time to color up my dragonflies. I saved these for last because I wasn't sure what colors I wanted to do. So I'm ending up using some peach and some Sundance. And then I'll also use a little bit of paprika on one of them. I'm just going to show you one of the dragonflies and how this works. So I added a little bit of tape to the dragonfly, taped it down to my scrap paper, and then I washi taped my stencil over top. And now I'm just going in with my blending brushes and applying the color. Now you could apply anything over here. You could use some of the Stickles glitter gel over there. You could do sprays, basically anything you want, and it perfectly colors those wings, which I just love. I wanted to add some subtle shimmer, so I'm using my gold shimmer brush and just coloring the wings. And then I also wanted to add some color to the body, and I'm using the muted brown TriBlend marker, just in the lightest shade and filling in the body of the dragonfly. I was really hoping you'd be able to see that beautiful sparkle, but it just doesn't show up. But at least you get a closer look at the nice blending. I love the new Close to My Heart ink blending brushes. You can get a super soft application of inks, and I think it helps our regular dye inks blend a little bit more like an oxide ink. I curled up the wings on my dragonflies just to add a little bit of dimension. And now I want to finish off with another little texture. So I'm adding in some sequins. These are in the new color of the year, Melon, and it's kind of like a darker peach color. So since I have peach already going on this layout, I know you don't really think fall and pink, but since I already have that on there, I think they go perfectly. So I'm just going to cluster them around. Usually what I like to do is groups of 2 or 3 and in various sizes. So like a larger one with a tinier one. And I just kind of sprinkle them around each of my clusters. I usually kind of end up creating triangles out of my gems or sequins. So on the 2 larger embellishment clusters, I have sequins at 3 different points, creating kind of a triangle of sequins. The smaller one I just kept with like one little cluster of sequins. I tried adding more sequins to that top cluster, but it just looked weird, so I decided to call it quits. Here is a close-up look so you can see all the little details. I hope I did Erin's layout justice. She is so incredibly creative, and she just makes it look so effortless. I could have scrap lifted like literally everything she's ever made. So make sure you hop on over to her video that she's posting, but also her channel, and watch through some of her videos. You will find a ton of inspiration. I will have everybody linked here in this playlist that is contributing to this collaboration, and also down in the description box. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye.